Branches, you have branches. We have node, but we have a root node and we have non-terminal nodes and we have terminal nodes. And then the labels, and that's the first step. Do you see? Do you understand that? It's clear, right? Because root node, the root, and that is the root because when we talk about drawing trees is like a tree, but inverted tree. So it means that these are the branches. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 branches. Just picture in your mind a tree and put that tree upside down, and then you got this. The root is the M, the phrase, and then the rest are the branches because the tree is upside down. Do you understand what I mean? The tree is upside down. The root node is the M,
Yes.
is the phrase, and then we have uh, branches, and then we have terminal and non-terminal nodes. Okay. And then if somebody talks or asks you about domination, according to the Andrew Carney at the bottom left hand, it says Andrew Carney, 2006. Domination means that A, which is what is the name of A, syntactically speaking? Root node. The root node dominates what? The root node dominates what? Well, it dominates B, C, D, E, F, G. So the root node A dominates all this. It means that this is a containment. If you contain another, you dominate it. So A dominates all of them. A dominates B, C, D, E, F, G. D dominates what? Let's say that D is a prepositional phrase, and that is a group of words composed of a preposition, a noun, and another prepositional phrase. So that D, what is the name of that D? Well, it's a non-terminal node. Dominates what? E, F, G. Okay, that is the domination. Term. At the end, the root node dominates everything, but these non-terminal nodes dominate these constituents because what we do when we analyze uh, sentence in words or phrases or clauses is at the end we have a sentence at the top that dominates everything. But putting those words together to form sentences is that what we are going to do today. But this is you can draw trees in any language, African languages, in German, in French, in any language, Spanish, in English. We are just going to cover English, not African languages, not German languages. It's a little bit more complicated because we don't speak, but then we need to know what words can get together, what words cannot get together, what dominates what and what does not dominate. That is domination. Immediate domination, that's another terminology that we have in the trees. Uh, Node 8 immediately dominates B if there is no intervening node G. A dominates everything, but B, uh, let's say node B if there is no intervening node G. Let's say if node A immediately dominate node B. Immediately. It's under that branch. If there is no intervening node G. So the G is not immediately dominated by A. A immediately dominates what?
C.
And D and B. A immediately, as it says here, A immediately dominates B, C, D, A. A, not. A dominates all of them, but immediately just B, C, and D. That's the thing. Do you understand? It's clear, right? It's immediate. Immediate means A, and what comes next under those branches? B, C, D. Immediately dominates B, C, D. But A dominates all of them. Okay? That's what immediate domination means. So we have learned about immediate domination, and basic terms. So is that clear so far? And that's important because sometimes when we are going to draw trees, we have to know those terminology. Exhaustive domination. Hmm. What is that? Can you explain to me what is exhaustive domination?
Could be the complete rules, the whole rules.
Mm, exhaustive domination. It's clear because this is a PP or PowerPoint presentation is clear. A exhaustively dominate all of them. A exhaustively dominates B, C, D, and E. That's it. Except what does that mean? That A exhaustively dominate the constituents under it, under that note. A exhaustively dominates B, C, D, or those constituents. But A does not exhaustively dominate just B, C, D, because B, C, D, maybe they need E to form a constituent. You have to dominate everything, B, C, D, E, but not just B, C, D. What about E? But A also does not exhaustively dominate B, C, D, E, and H. H is another constituent. Okay? And remember that when we draw trees, what we are analyzing are the words that we can put together. Because under G, H and I form a constituent. Under A, B, C, D form another constituent. You cannot separate that.
That means, Professor, that the first letter is going to dominate the other letter immediately. No matter if, for example, F dominate the whole other letters, but A
F dominate all the constituents because that is a sentence.
That is the center of the structure, and then, for example, A is going to dominate B, C, and D, and E. But
okay, that's it.
Is going to dominate all of them. That is the okay.
That is when, because I'm talking about this because sometimes we don't stop. Our professor don't stop explaining this, and then when you go to, for example, now what we are using this kind of technology, you can go and enter to a conference in syntax abroad, maybe in China or Japan or United States, and they start talking about syntax, exhaustive domination, immediate domination, and you get lost. You don't know, you don't understand, but this is pretty simple. But if you don't know the definitions, you get lost. And that is why I'm before drawing the trees and teaching you this terminology. Because remember again, the term constituent. What is a constituent? Who can remind me or recall me? What is a constituent? Or what are constituents?
Work together, working as a unit.
Okay, working as a unit. Unit. So means that A, how we call A? I forgot. The non-terminal A, terminal node, because we have non-terminal, root node, branches and terminal nodes. The non-terminal node A here, the non-terminal node A dominates B, C, D, E, which is a constituent. Maybe let's think that that constituency is a noun phrase, and G is a BP, another constituent, and then exhaustively dominates the set B, C, D, E, A. But if you put another, then E and H no constituent. You cannot say that that A exhaustively dominate A and H, because A and H they do not form a constituent. In other words, uh, you can just join constituents using binary branching.
Professor, just to clarify in my mind, if you mentioned that F is the sentence, the main root, can
Mhm.
we say that A, the non-terminal node A, is considered the subject, and that the non-terminal G is considered the verb phrase?
Mm, this is
Or
just
not
an example.
necessarily?
No, no, no. I just said that. I just said that. Sometimes, yeah, I cannot say that, but that is just a representation. Okay. Well, maybe you can make that generalization. A is a noun phrase because it always works like that. NP, BP, maybe. But what I'm trying to say, what exhaustive domination mean is this. Exhaustive domination means that the non-terminal node dominates the words, or how can I say non-terminal terminal nodes, which is these terminal nodes are immediately under it, not on the other side. But you can make that generalization if you want. But
Okay,
yeah,
no, but yeah, I understand that part, Professor. But my question is like, if this exhaustive domination is going to help us draw the trees, like if we can make that representation in our mind, like A, the non-terminal node A can be the subject, and then the G is the verb phrase. Or if in
yeah,
the tree we'll find something different, and we can add like more non-terminal nodes. Let's say we
you can
add
add, yeah, you can
and
add more. Uh-huh.
uh,
You can add more. You can add more because
that's what
what
I
if we
meant.
add another PP, for
If we add
example,
another,
prepositional phrase.
yeah, and then if we add another one, J, then it's another the other non-terminal node is gonna be J.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay, now I understand. Thank you.
And then J, and then what you have, the terminal nodes under that one that you added are not exhaustively dominated by any of the other A or G. Is okay. That is the formal definition of constituents. Okay, okay. Here is what we have, and this is why the very beginning I was asking you what is a constituency, and then you didn't pay attention to that terminology in your previous course. Maybe you hear about that. I'm sure because in the book of grammar, uh, the author talk about constituency, but the problem is that if you do not pay attention to definitions and terminology when you are going to study syntax, then you will not be able to explain how important is constituency, because syntax is putting constituents together in a tree, representing the constituents or the units or that form clauses, words, phrases that join together to form sentences. That is a constituent. The set of nodes exhaustively dominated by a single node. Single node is the sentence, is a constituent. Single node, or yeah, or maybe terminal node or the whole node, because the whole sentence is a constituent. But A, non-terminal A and G, they also join constituent. Uh, A and H, E and H are not constituents. You see, you can say that G, H, and I, the non-terminal G, for a constituent with H and I. The non-terminal A for constituents, it was B, C, D, and E. But you cannot say that E and H for a constituent because they are not under that non-terminal node. So we represent constituents when we draw trees. Is that clear?
Yes.
Mhm. We are analyzing what constituency, what are the group of words that we can join together. I cannot join A and A and let's see, E and H because E and H do not form a constituency. So that's what the author means. Uh, this is another thing that maybe constituents of does not mean the same as constituent. A dominate B, but we say B is a constituent of A. Okay, so that's another terminology that maybe I added this slide from the author uh, just for matter of definitions. Okay, this is very important. Some informal terms: a mother, daughter, and sisters. We don't have father, nephews, cousins, and just mother, daughter, sister. But that's life. Mother, the node that immediately dominates another. So we can say that a noun phrase is composed of a determiner and then immediately an NP. Noun phrase, determiner, NP. So the mother is the NP, the noun phrase. That's the mother node that immediately dominate the determiner and NP. In a sentence, we can say that the subject, which is at the top, but it was changed to TP now. It's a new term. Instead of subject, syntactician use TP. What is TP? What is the meaning of TP? As
Time
the mother.
phrase.
The tense phrase and subject is the same. So TP is another or a new term. Instead of saying subject, now they use TP, tense phrase. Tense phrase because that tense, as you read in chapter 3 and 6, that tense you need to represent that tense using a feature, plus tense or minus tense. If the tense is past tense, then you add the feature in past is plus past. Is the verb is in present, you add the future minus past. That's why that TP is to represent tense. But at the top, NP, BP, adjective phrase, or whatever, that's the mother in a phrase. The phrase is the mother. Then we have daughters. So that daughter could be NP and DP, daughter. They know that is immediately dominated by another. Those are daughters. And then daughters of the dominating node. Then you have daughters, but if they are at the same level, hierarchically speaking, they are then sisters. Sisters. Let's see if we have a representation here. Yeah. A root node is the mother. In this case, this is a tense phrase which represents this sentence. The platypus laughed. Then we have the terminal nodes. We have the daughters, sisters, a node with no daughter. Terminal node. In the terminal node, the D, N, and V, which is a part of a speech, this is the determiner, this is a noun, this is a verb. Uh, Terminal nodes have no daughter. And as you see there, when you classify then using the syntactic categories, determiner, noun, verb, you see that you don't have a line here. We have TP, we have a branch. VP, we have a branch. But after V, you don't have a branch or a line here, right? Uh, uh, you classify them as part of a speech. Don't do that. Don't draw a line after verbs and the. That is a common mistake that we commit at the very beginning when we are going to draw trees.
Professor, I didn't understand that part. Can you say it again, please?
You see that these terminal nodes, what are the terminal nodes? The terminal nodes are the D, N, and V. Those are terminal because you don't have any other. You just have the syntactic categories. Because remember that the first thing you do when you are going to draw a tree is to the syntactic category. What is that? That is a determiner. Pledging of pots is a noun and laughed is a verb. Uh, but if you notice, you don't have a line or a branch under each syntactic category. You don't have a line. You cannot say verb and then you draw a line like in VP, branch V, then V branch laughed. No, you don't have a line. That's what I mean. Don't draw a line under the categories D, N, and V. That clear?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now I got it. And another question, Professor. You just mentioned that TP stands for
tense
the
phrase.
subject,
Tense phrase.
which is the subject, right? I mean, you said like
Yeah,
it's
previously the subject, but nowadays they use TP instead of
yeah.
subject. Remember that back in the 80s they used to, even in the 60s at the very beginning, 60s we use S to represent subject,
Yeah.
and that
Okay.
subject changed. Sometimes it changed to IP, inflectional phrase, and it also changes to many other notations, but now we use TP. But it's the same assumption. Don't
Uh-huh.
get
Professor, then according to what you just explained, VP is the sister of the root, right?
yes, PP and
Okay,
NP.
and MP, yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, they are daughters and sisters at the same time.
But from the root, what is the relationship of the VP?
This PP is the relationship with the TP. This is a daughter. That's it.
It's a daughter.
Uh-huh.
And then it's sister of the MP.
Sister of an NP.
Okay, now I got. And another question, Professor.
Uh-huh.
I can see here that then the BP is part of the root node. Is that possible? If this is
BP
a
BP is
BP
part of the. Uh-huh.
subject,
Say again. I couldn't.
I mean, BP is part of the subject according to the branches, right? Because
Uh-huh.
you have the BP and then you have a branch. I mean, the TP and then you have a branch that goes to the BP. So that
Uh-huh.
means that the BP is part of the subject.
That is part of the subject, and this is a constituent. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I didn't get it. Could you explain it
Yeah,
again?
because it's weird, like to have a verb that is part of the subject. I mean, according to what we studied before, they are
Uh,
like
It's like
yeah,
we are
yeah, yeah.
having the subject and the complement together.
Professor, isn't it the S stands for sentence instead of subject?
maybe
In the
yeah,
Sentence.
sentence?
maybe TP
Yes,
stands for
sir.
sentence.
Yeah.
Tense phrase, yes.
That's
Tense
right.
phrase or subject.
Yes.
Because at the end, the sentence that is circled, at the end, that is a tense phrase. That is a sentence. The whole thing is a sentence, and then
Yeah,
all the sentence is part of the TP at the end, and then the PP is just a constituent verb, and then NP is a constituent noun phrase uh, that together uh, they are sisters of the top TP, and then that's the what we want to represent, or the author want to represent in this graph. But we will see with practice. Then maybe we can clarify that. I'm just telling you basic terminology, okay, which is important to know. But please, uh, this is just uh, representation to show you what is root, what is terminal, what is a daughter, what is sister. But later, this generalization is going to expand. Why? I say that because we don't see there uh, the notion of bar yet. I don't see the notion of bar here, which is chapter number 6, which I am going to introduce today, and I introduce in the video that I sent to you. But my purpose with this is just to introduce you with this uh, terminology, okay? We have learned about this domination, root node, non-terminal nodes, blah, 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 blah. Domination, what dominates what. Let's see what else the author have to share with us. The term of constituent, because as you see here, this constituent G is the same as we have in the example. This is a constituent. This is a constituent, and then they form part of the root node at the top. Mother, daughter, sisters. That's the only thing that we have. Mother, daughter, and sister. No father, no cousin, nothing. Precedence. Let's see how many slides do we have. Okay, we have precedence. Uh-huh. 3 more slides and that's it, which is important for you to understand. Precedence. Node A precedes node B if A is to the left of B. It's informal definition. But this run into problem with trees which are badly drawn. So you have to be careful with trees. But let's see what this precedence means. Node A precedes node B if A is to the left. You see, let's see. Consider this poorly drawn tree. What does keys precede clone? Where is keys? Okay. Be careful when you draw trees because here we don't see, you see the line under that cross over N. We don't see any what precedes what, quiz or clown. Okay, that is the notion of.
Professor,
Mhm.
don't move the slide for a second, please.
I will send this to you. I will send
Oh,
this to you.
okay.
Well, you know why? Because I was working on this last night. I was working on this. I was trying to see from the hundreds and hundreds of slides that I have what is important for you to understand before going to drawing trees. So this is why I just have 17. But if you want, I can send you all of them. No worries. 100 and something for your knowledge. But we don't have time. Mm, I want you to draw trees today. Today you are going to enjoy drawing trees. No worries. Sister precedence, sister precedence. We are going to need more local relationship to refer to dominance. This is sister. Sister precedes B. A sister precedes B if and only if A and B are immediately dominated by the same node and A appears to the left of B. Let's see this in practice. NP, sister precedes BP. Okay. D, sister precedes N. But N does not sister precede V. It's the same notion that we have with constituents. You cannot say that N and B sister precedes because they are not sister, just sister precede. N is sister preceded by D. That's it. Preceded. It means that the man left. You cannot say the left man. The man left. Then the man is a constituent. That's why it's under NP, and the left is another thing. It's a BP. But then the notion of sister, precedence is that. And another thing that you need to know is the notion of what uh, commands what. Uh, Wait a minute. about C command before?
No.
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 Really? C command. No. Then let me introduce you what C command is. The first thing that comes to your mind when you see that term, which is very broadly used in syntax when you draw trees, what comes to your mind when you see the C command? What is the first question that comes to your mind? You see that
Okay.
term, C,
I mean,
C
C,
command, and then what comes to
Compliments?
your mind?
agency, right?
Uh-huh.
Compliment.
Agency.
Compliments.
Say, C.
Uh-huh. C. What is C? Uh-huh.
Compliments.
No.
I, I would say like which depend on what, probably
Okay.
something like that.
That could be. C is the notion of constituent. That C stands for constituents command. Then let's see the constituents command or C command. The relationship between a node and its sister, the relationship between a node and its sister. A and C are sister, right? And all daughters of its sister and daughter of its sister. So the daughter of C are D, E, F, G, and H. So that means that A, C commands or constituents command, A, C commands what? C, D, E, F, G, and H,
Which are the daughters of D, E, F, right?
which are the daughter of C, which is a sister of A. So A dominates the sister and all the daughters. But D does not C command A because it's not under that umbrella. That is the notion of C command. And C stands for constituent command. That is important because sometimes professors, when they are explaining trees, they say, okay, what C commands what? Does this C command this? And then you get lost. What is C command? That's why it's important terminology, people. I think that is all. I think. So, any question about C command? That's the notion of C command. If you A C commands
Uh,
all the sisters and daughters of
It,
C.
it, it would
so
be a
professor.
great idea, or instead of having letters, like having examples, how in the
Uh huh.
constituency we
Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh.
work.
We are gonna do that. And I have the examples ready for you. But before going to the examples, it's important for you at least to have an idea what we're talking about. C commands, persistent precedence. We also talk about root, node, terminal node, branches, mother, daughters, sisters,
Professor,
constituents.
Professor, the terminal nodes.
So, for example, in the example you have there, that well, I was going to analyze the example that you had there, but just to make it clear for me to see if I
Let's see.
didn't got it.
Which example?
The first one, I think. That one. Yes. So okay. O in this case is daughter of M,
N.
right? But then it's sister of N. So it means that N C commands O, G, H, and J.
Yes,
All
that's
right.
right.
Got it now.
That's right. But J does not see command N.
Okay.
That is the notion of psychoman. Now, I'm glad you are understanding that, because many times you finish a syntax course, and professors don't pay attention to this basic terminology, and then students get confused and they don't know what is psychoman, what is root, what is non-terminal, what is a node, what is a root node, what is a branch, what is daughter, what is sister. They don't understand that. How can you explain something that people don't understand? What are the basic terminology? That is the point.